Yeah, pause of YouTube, SixftHax here. What's up, how's it going, guys? Did not let y'all down today. Hopefully my video in your sub box is not letting you down. I don't know why I said that. But yeah, hi. I don't know, I feel like I'm a little all over the place, but I'm excited either way. Hopefully you guys do enjoy the video. Make sure to hammer arm that thumbs up button down below. Also answer the comment question of the day. So this match was against KyleRare, somebody I used to battle quite a bit, couple months back, couple weeks back, however long it's been since I've uploaded, and we did have a pretty nice UU match here. I am using this different Mega Venusaur team, which at the current time that this is being uploaded, Mega Venusaur is actually in suspect test in the UU tier, which I kind of hope it stays, but I can definitely see why it would be way too much. It's just, it has so much coverage, so much good bulk, and then an ability that nullifies or neutralizes fire and ice type moves, which are two of its weaknesses. So yeah, that's kind of terrifying once you really factor in that bulk, the fact that this thing can run offensive sets, and actually typically these run enough speed to outspeed Adamant Scizor. So I was hoping that maybe he would stay in turn one and I could pop him with a hidden power fire, but no, Kyle does make the smart play here, and he's going to decide to bring in his Reuniclus. Now this Reuniclus is actually going to be quite the nightmare to deal with if I lose my Hydreigon or Chandelure, or if maybe he tries to set up. So I do actually stay in and go for the Sludge Bomb, thinking that my switch into my Hydreigon or Chandelure is way too obvious. So I stay in, make the aggressive play, and this way I can hopefully apply offensive pressure so he won't be able to just recover for free. As this turn, I do expect him to go for the Psychic on the off chance that he thought I would maybe stay in again. And if he did go for the recover, then the next turn I could probably try to get on my rocks. But he's going to make an offensive switch here into Kamo, because this probably does have the bulletproof, and Kamo is actually very, very terrifying. If this is Dragon Dance or Band-Aid or Z Autotomize, I basically need to drop something to it. So that's why I actually decided to go for the Earthquake here. I do lose my Stealth Rocker, but in return I'm able to weaken one giant threat, and now I don't have to worry about it as much. So hopefully this thing will not be switching in too many times for free, as I will be able to bring in my Hydreigon here. I was very, very close to clicking the Draco Meteor just to ensure that I could KO the Kamo, but he does still have use for it, considering that he could potentially bring it in again and get another KO. I may not be able to live another hit or safely switch in and take a hit, but if he does get a free switch back into the Kamo, then that's going to be a giant problem. So the fact that he does have Primarina in the back, and then it turns out that he is defensive, this thing is a perfect switch in to my Hydreigon, as I will U-turn into my Mega Venusaur. Mega Venusaur could prove to be a nuisance to him, so I decided to go for the Giga Drain just on the slight chance that he did bring in the Kamo there, because he might have actually been able to bring it in. And if he did bring in Reuniclus, I don't knock out the Reuniclus with Sludge Bomb anyway, so I figured at least by going for Giga Drain, I gain back some type of recovery in the long run of whatever I want to go for. So he is going to decide to Mega Evolve here. I debated staying in, like I really kind of wish I had stayed in, because that would have been great, because I possibly could have been able to knock him out with the Giga Drain, and he's going to make an excellent play, calls my Klefki switch in here, and catches me with the Earthquake. That's a little bit annoying, but there is a few things I could do here. I could Spike, I could Reflect, I could Thunder Wave. Ultimately, I figured Thunder Wave might be my best play, because if he does leave in the Mega Aerodactyl, then I paralyze it, so potentially the rest of my team cannot speed it, and that could be absolutely huge. That way he's not able to save it for later in the match potentially, as he does actually end up bringing in the Primarina. I've seen a lot of Rest Talk Primarina, so if this is Rest Talk, then he's not really going to care about the Thunder Wave, which I am guessing he is probably Rest Talk, considering that he's Leftovers, and again, Leftovers Primarina is typically Rest Talk, because it's crazy just how good Primarina can be. It can be defensive. A lot of people have tried the offensive spec set. I wonder if maybe Scarf would be kind of worth trying out, although I guess it is a little bit slow, but hey, could catch some people off guard. I really do though. I really want to draft Primarina in the next league I'm in, because that thing is an absolute monster. So just a little hint, wink there. If you see a draft analysis in the future, there'll probably be a Primarina there, just because I really want to use it. So yeah, I don't know, just a little. Primarina's cool, okay? I like Primarina. So I get a Polaire Spikes here as he brought in the Hippowdon. Now this is not really that bad. I figured that the worst thing he can do is probably get up his own rocks. Realistically, my team shouldn't be bothered by rocks, and if he does want to try to get rid of all the spikes I'm gonna get up, then he could potentially go for Defog with the arrow, or even the Scizor if it is defensive Scizor, because that could still make sense. But either way though, him switching out turn 1 gave me no information whatsoever on the Scizor, so I do kind of have to expect the worst case scenario, which is that it's either Bandit or Swords Dance, and if it's Swords Dance, it could potentially sweep me late game, so I have to be very careful with that thing, as I will go for the Reflect here. He didn't really gain anything in going for like Whirlwind here, or not trying to KO me, because he picks up his KO here, and if I do save this for later, then I can use it to potentially sack off to the Scizor if it was a choice set. So then that way I can figure out what he locks himself into, and I can make the appropriate play. So either way, getting rid of Klefki here was definitely my best play, as I will be able to bring in my Venusaur, and unfortunately because of the Spadef boost in the sand that rock types get, I will not be able to knock him out here with the Giga Drain. I really wish I had stayed earlier, but it was a little bit of a 50-50, and Kyle got me on that 50-50, because I can definitely tank an Aerial Ace, and if I didn't have the Reflect up there, I still would have lived that. So again, just further proof I should have just stayed in sooner, and then I could still recover off on the Hippowdon, because the Giga Drain and Synthesis still gave me at least 1/3 in my HP. So I'm able to knock out the Mega Aerodactyl, so that's one speedy threat that I no longer have to worry about. However though, this Reuniclus is still a giant nuisance, man. If this starts to set up, that could be very bad. So he's got Focus Blast, he's got to have Psychic, and he has Recover. So he most likely is Calm Mind, or I guess it could be like Recover defensive 3 attacks, but typically Reuniclus do like to run those defensive sets. Trick Room might have been a little bit scary, but because he had Leftovers, I figured he wasn't Trick Room. Typically that's a nice little huge giveaway there. So the fact that he's not Trick Room is kind of good, but the fact that he's Calm Mind is still very terrifying, as I believe this turn I go for either the Substitute or I go for the Flamethrower. No, so I did sub. The reason I did this is because I'm pretty sure he doesn't have the Clanging Scale, since he did close combat me earlier, and I doubt the Kamo is the type of monster to run a mix set in the UU tier. And I have seen Banded before, and it's not Life Orb. There's still a chance it could also be Z move maybe. But either way though, Substituted covered whatever he wanted to do just about. Even if he brought in Hippowdon, I could then still hit it with 2 Flamethrowers and maybe beat it 1v1. And if I had Energy Ball, he probably didn't want to risk that. So Kamo was probably his most expendable team member, as I do get rid of it. In comes the Primarina once again. I don't have Energy Ball. I have Shadow Ball though. That's like the best move I have to hit Primarina, and if I really want to play around with the paralysis chances, I can do that. But at the same time, I have a Rest Talk Curselax in the back that can come in. Even if I get burned, I don't really care about it, because this can definitely win me the match at this point, potentially. The only scary thing is that his Scizor does have the Choice Banded superpower, because even at +1 defense, I don't beat the Scizor 1v1, because I think superpower still just straight knocks out Snorlax. Even though I am at +1 defense, Snorlax doesn't have the best physical defense, and Choice Banded Adamant Scizor is a threat that's been there since 4th gen. It's tested and proven that Banded Scizor is very problematic to deal with. So that's why I cursed once here, and I thought that maybe, just maybe, he wasn't Choice Banded, and then I could maybe get off damage on the Primarina to make it easier for my Chandelure to beat. So if I had cursed up twice here, I think I would have felt a lot more comfortable in potentially just staying in here and going for the frustration afterwards. But unfortunately, Choice Banded superpower straight knocks me out, so I'm going to try to make an aggressive switch here into my Chandelure in hopes that he does superpower me, but he goes for the Sword Dance, and now this is even scarier than Choice Banded Scizor, because it's boosted more and he's got the free liberty to switch up moves. I don't have much bulk on the Chandelure, but because I still resist the Bullet Punch, I will tank the hit, live on 10, and in return knock him out with the Flamethrower. So at this point, the only real thing I have to worry about is making sure that Reuniclus does not Calm Mind. If I can try to prevent that somehow, we should be in a good spot here, hopefully. So in comes the Hippowdon. I think I need to Flamethrower this. I don't know why he didn't bring in the Primarina, maybe because he didn't want to risk the paralysis. Because actually, yeah, because I could Shadow Ball it. I could have Shadow Balled it. Then he could have got paralyzed, and then I could have Shadow Balled again. So yeah, I guess it did make sense that he brought in Hippo here. Plus, as you can see there, Hippo's nothing but that thickness, and it just eats the hit. Plus, I was not Life Orb, I was not specs, that was Leftovers, Calm Mind, but that damage is still pretty solid to the Hippowdon, as I will be able to bring in my Mega Venusaur here. I still have my spikes up, which is really great in this match, so I figured that maybe he would want to save this Hippowdon, and Sludge Bombing there was just kind of a bit of a misplay on my part. I definitely should have gone for the Giga Drain. Ultimately though, I don't think it changes too much in the outcome of the battle there, but he does get off one hit on me with the Earthquake there, but I am able to live the hit, and then next turn, if the sand does not end, I can still take another one, and I'm still going to gain back a little bit of HP here regardless or not if I go for the Giga Drain. I get a crit. Crit obviously did not matter there, so down goes the Hippowdon. I got back like 32 HP from that. That's just crazy how much HP Hippowdon truly had. Could you imagine if they made like Mega Hippowdon? Ooh, that'd be really cool. But yeah, either way though, in comes Reuniclus. I don't have Sleep Powder, unfortunately. This is like a match where I really wish that I maybe had Sleep Powder as one of my final moves, because if he does Calm Mind here, things are going to go very south for me, and I couldn't bring in Hippowdon, sorry. I couldn't bring in Hydreigon there, because if I brought in Hydreigon, then Primarina came in for free, and at that point he could potentially try to double, or Primarina could have applied some offensive pressure to me. Even if he did Calm Mind here, Dark Pulse could have got a flinch potentially, and then I might have been able to 2k home depending on rolls. Plus he could have missed the Focus Blast, which unfortunately he does hit. So at this point things are looking very, very bleak. Like, I still have a slight chance to beat this Reuniclus, but it comes down to how lucky he is on hitting those Focus Blasts. That's like legitimately my last hope at this point, is that if he doesn't land any crucial Focus Blasts, then my Curselex will be able to outboost him and then beat him 1v1. This is where I kind of wish I had been Figgy Berry Recycle, because I might have been able to outstall his Focus Blasts. And then with him boosting his special attack, I would be boosting my physical defense. So if he had Psy Shock, then the Psy Shock would still be doing just regular damage, and then from there I can recycle, curse, and then Snorlax, I think at that point was pretty much untouchable by him. But he does land another Focus Blast, and as you can see here, Frustration is not strong enough, so I just kind of have to hope he misses here. If he misses this, I can rest. I can tank another one, Sleep Talk, a Frustration maybe, and knock him out depending on just how bulky he had been. But yeah, he does hit the Focus Blast there, and he's able to finish me off with the Side Shock. At this point, even though my Mega Venusaur I think was probably a giant issue for him to deal with, this is where I cannot really do much else with it, because this Reuniclus is boosted to +2 if I'm not mistaken. So he's going to be able to finish me off with the Side Shock. So yeah, that's why I think that me going for the Sludge Bomb over Giga Drain earlier against Hippo really didn't matter. Either way though, very, very fun battle did come there at the end, just to those Focus Blasts hitting. And hey, if you have to rely on a Focus Blast missing in those scenarios, you know very, very well that if the miss happens, it's because Focus Blast has 70% accuracy. It misses 3 out of 10 times, and unfortunately this matchup did not have any of those. Either way though, very, very fun battle. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Hammer arm that thumbs up button down below, and I will see you all tomorrow. The comment question of the day is on your screen, of course. Thank you everybody. And yeah, I will see you all back here tomorrow with some Draft League content, because it is going to be the weekend. And yeah, later.
No matter where you're at, I'm not here to make friends, it's time to attack and deplete your HP with a final smash. Don't make me turn around and pull a 6-foot hacks. 6 foot hacks, hacks. Yeah. 6 foot hacks, hacks. Yeah. 6 foot